Hey, fellow leaders, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and on this podcast, we are going to promise that we are willing to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. And we're going to help you do that. We're going to help you lead with intention by first helping you reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. So first of all, I want to say thank you for tuning into this episode. Every Monday, every Mindset Monday, it's important to win the week by winning the day. And even if you listen to these on Wednesdays or Thursdays or really any day of the week, I'm grateful for you and your support. And a great way to remember when the episodes come out is hit that subscribe button now so that you get notifications when they come out. No matter the industry, no matter the business, I get to talk about this topic quite a bit. And really, COVID has brought on this challenge for a lot of companies and a lot of health systems, a lot of businesses. But there's certain things that we can do to intentionally lead our team, even if they're not right in front of us. So as we know, hybrid work and people working at home and people working in the office and people working overseas within your teams has become more commonplace. So this week, I want to talk a lot about how to engage these employees so they feel inspired and they feel connected to the team, but you also feel connected to them because as we know, it's the relationships that we have at work that mean the most, not just the work we get to do, but how do we feel valued, seen, heard, and appreciated, no matter if I'm sitting in front of you in person or through a screen. So this week, we're going to talk all about how to engage employees in a hybrid work world. And really, it's redefining connection and productivity because this hybrid work world model has really transitioned from being a temporary solution a few years ago to maybe a defining feature in modern workplaces. We don't need as much brick and mortar, right? While offering flexibility and autonomy is great, it presents some unique challenges for leaders, like how to keep employees engaged, how to maintain a strong team dynamic, and how to uphold this inspiring organizational culture across multiple environments. So success in this new reality requires different thinking, innovation, intentionality, and adaptability. So, in this podcast, we're going to be talking about, we're going to really kind of explore this idea of some simple strategies that go beyond surface level to kind of fix and create deeply engaged and high performance workforce teams. So first, we have to redesign communication and focus on inclusivity and, kind of go against this traditional communication of, only in-office teams, because that's no longer going to happen. So leaders must adopt a kind of a different ways to communicate effectively to ensure inclusivity and effectiveness. Something else we have to do is synchronize and asynchronize. Not all communications need to happen in real time. We have to use this asynchronous tool, like tools like Loom or Slack for updates, and reserve this, some of the things that we have to do to have critical discussions and requiring some of our live input with our teams. But these hybrid meetings, we have to make sure that they're inclusive by equipping, maybe conference rooms and advanced video technology. So really the remote team members feel just as present in those in-office meetings. And it's important to rotate, meeting leadership among team members to maintain an active participation from everyone. Now, how do we do this is we call them kind of micro moments of connection. So encourage brief informal check-ins via tools like Teams or chat. You can use Zoom, kind of call them coffee breaks, if you will. So these small interactions build camaraderie and reduce feelings of isolation for those people working at home. But also reimagine the role of physical spaces. So in hybrid environments, the purpose of the office has shifted from being just kind of this stuck default workplace to a hub for collaboration and culture building. And leaders should really maximize the value of in-person interactions. But how do we do that? First, we have to design spaces for collaboration, not cubicles. Replace rows of desks with open, adaptable spaces designed for brainstorming and team building and strategic meetings. And you have to plan these intentional gatherings, using the in-office days for activities that intentionally drive alignment, creativity, and connection rather than routine work that can be done remotely. And this hybrid first mindset, recognize that not all employees can or should work in the office. Design these engagement strategies that can really prioritize the contributions of both remote and in-office workers equally. It's tough to do both, but we have to find a way. But really, you have to learn how to personalize these employee engagement because this hybrid work really demands more of a nuanced approach to engagement. Leaders must recognize that each employee's circumstances and sometimes preferences and motivators are different. Whether you work at home or in the office, those are different things because of your connection to your team. But how do you measure this, right? So you have to do some surveys and analytics and ask your team for feedback through, some anonymous surveys and kind of understand their challenges at all levels. Use this data to really tailor kind of the things you're doing to identify the gaps, and you can focus on individualized growth plans. So with every employee, map out development for opportunities that align with their goals and the organization's vision, regardless of where they work. So creating this sense of everyone on the same page. But it's also important to do some recognition. So use digital platforms for achievements, whether it's big or small. And this idea of personalized recognition fosters a deeper sense of belonging and motivation. But we also have to elevate our well-being as a core leadership responsibility. Burnout is significant, and it's a risk in hybrid settings where boundaries between work and personal life can blur. Leaders must adopt these proactive strategies to support an employee well-being, because it's important to be managing stress as well as your workload. But you have to normalize flexibility. So allow these employees that are hybrid to structure their workdays around peak and productivity times, family commitments, and maybe even personal wellness. But this flexibility empowers employees to bring their best selves to work, right? Not just the rest of them, but the best of them. We also have to invest in mental health resources. And this mental health part of what we do is maybe it's therapy, maybe it's meditation, maybe there's some apps or resilience training programs, but we have to get them to model self-care like we do. So prioritizing your own well-being as a leader, you give your team permission to do the same. We have to reinforce organizational culture through storytelling. And so culture is really the glue that binds us together, especially in hybrid work environments, whether we're in office or at home. Leaders have to become intentional storytellers, kind of weaving in the organization's mission and the vision and values into everyday interactions. But how do we do this, right? How do we do this well? And so we have to get really good at sharing the vision on a regular basis. Start meetings with a reminder of the organization or your business's purpose and how current projects contribute to that achievement. Make them see it's something bigger than themselves. And it's important to celebrate these success stories. So highlight the team's accomplishment, how it aligns with the team's value in office and remote workers. And then also it's really important to build the team by peer-to-peer recognition. Create maybe it's platforms or intentionality to create this idea and this opportunity to recognize people and support each other. And again, trust is everything for these hybrid workers. And so not only is it non-negotiable, right? Trust is super critical, but without it, employees feel micromanaged and disengaged and undervalued. When you ask for productivity reports without trust, it feels like you're getting micromanaged. And so we have to learn to lead with transparency and be open about the goals, the challenges, and decisions to really foster this sense of shared ownership. And we also have to learn how to empower autonomy, shift from task-based to outcome-based performance metrics. Trust your employees that work from home to deliver results in ways that work the best for them. And, as a leader, we have to consistently, actively listen. So whether it's employee meetings or forums, just make sure you're always listening to their feedback, because it's important to understand how their needs may be changing. So in this hybrid world, engagement is no longer a one-size-fits-all. It's a dynamic and kind of evolving process that requires thoughtful action and willingness to innovate. And as you reflect on your current strategies, here are a couple things just to ask yourself, right? To kind of lead with intention. How inclusive is your communication strategy? Are your in-person interactions intentional and impactful? And how well do you understand and support the needs of your employees? You have to really do some self-reflection, because identifying one area of your hybrid work strategy to refine, focus on one area this week, whether it's doing a new engagement initiative or, improving meeting inclusivity, or simply checking in with how your team's doing and how they're feeling. Because, if you're looking to dive deeper into how to create an engaged, high-performing hybrid culture, consider reaching out to me. I'd love to be able to help, whether it's through my executive coaching or, even if it's a keynote for you, whether it's in Zoom or in person, right? We can do this hybrid as well. I can help you design some strategies that work for both sides so that your team and your workplace can thrive. We can connect on building this kind of future-ready organization or your business together, because bringing everybody back just because it's tough to lead them is not an effective strategy. That's actually just avoidant strategy. So find a way to, you'll have some people that say, I could just be doing this work at home. Let's talk about why. Ask questions. Be more curious about why employees want to work from home. But we also have to develop effective strategies that the team can rely on and they can trust about how they're still being valued and how what they're doing matters, even if they're not with a team. But I will challenge you that you have to have intentional communication with the team that works at home. So when they're working away from home, how do you still make them feel connected? And that's up to you. How would you want to be connected with? Do you feel connected to them? Because if you don't, they probably feel the same way with you. And there's certainly ways we can do this. And this is where I'd love to pour in to you and your team and try to figure out how to maybe boost productivity by allowing people to work from home 1 day a week. I know I've worked with a lot of clients that were working in office 5 days a week, and they transitioned to allowing some of their team to work at home 1 day a week to 2 days a week. And the engagement during those 3 days in office is very different, but it's also a different headspace. But there's a lot of accountability and responsibility required if you're going to have a hybrid team. You can't just say, do what you always do, but then people are starting laundry at home, or they're making lunch and, watching TV, or they're doing other things. It's easy to get distracted at home. So it's a matter of consistent routine touch points. That's the best way to make sure that your team knows that what they're doing matters, whether they're in office or they're at home. So I hope this episode kind of rings true for a lot of you. Like I said, a lot of my clients, they struggle with this. They struggle with how to, work efficiently, work smart, not hard, and have people work at home if they can and if they need to, and if they enjoy it and they have better productivity. I just heard that, over in Europe, and I just heard JP Morgan's even just having some of his team work 3.5 days in a week. So asking our team to work in the same way that we've always asked them to work isn't going to work. The environment and the industries are changing to help with work-life balance, but it's actually more about work-life integration. So we have to be willing to hear our team's feedback about what it's like working at home and what it's like working in an office. Because with the right intention and with leading with intention, you can have both areas be areas where your team can thrive. Hope this episode's meaningful for you. And if there's anything I can do to help build connection with your hybrid work team, please reach out to me. I'd love to help. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to this podcast. Again, every Mindset Monday, these come out so that you can win the week by winning the day. And I'll remind you, like we always do, that you always have the power and the choice to reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until the next episode, never stop.